What's up, everyone? It's your boy C-Roc on the What Are You Made Of with C-Roc podcast, sponsored by Nations Lending. Home loans made human is our slogan. But anyway, I wanted to come to you today, guys. I'm excited about the topic today. I'm going to tell a little story that I read and actually watched a video on. And it really hit home with me. And so I want to share it with you. Hopefully you'll get something out of it. And again, as you're listening to my podcast or any podcast or even reading books, I always encourage people, listen, the whole thing may not be valuable to you, but try to get 1, 2, or 3 nuggets out of it that you can implement in your life. And you'll be a lot better for it. So let me talk to you about this leading from the roof. There's a guy named Scott Mann. I don't know if you've heard of him or not. And he was a Green Beret who fought in Afghanistan. And him and his team would go into these villages where the Taliban had control. And these villagers, and again, I'm going to go from memory from reading this. So if I get any of this wrong, please forgive me. And if Scott happens to listen to this, Scott, please forgive me. And I'd love to have you on the show. But they would go into these villages that were paralyzed by the Taliban. And they would basically try to help. Obviously we're there to help out and defeat the Taliban. But these villages, they were paralyzed in fear from what the Taliban did to them. I mean, obviously we all know there's some gruesome things that the Taliban did to try to control and psychologically and physically Afghanistan and the villages in Afghanistan. So when we went, not we, I say we, the United States, Scott Mann and his team, Green Berets, went into these villages. These villages were just, paralyzed with shock. So Scott and his team would go in there and they'd make 3 promises. Number 1, if the villagers wanted them to leave, they would leave. Number 2, if they stayed and the villagers wanted them to stay, it was going to get way worse before it got better. Number 3, when the Taliban came to attack, Scott and his team, he told them, we're going to go up on the roof and we're going to fight. Whether you come up and fight or whether you don't, we're going to come up and fight. We're going to go up and fight. And so those are the 3 promises that Scott and his team, Green Berets, promised the villagers. So what happened as time went on, and I want you to think about something in your life, in your business, in your family, or things that have happened on a sports team. Can you relate to this story? And I can tell you, when I was hearing the story, it related to me. I didn't even know, and I'm going to share with you how it related to me, but I didn't even know what was going on when I was going through this and how this related to this until I read this. This hit me like a ton of bricks. But what happened at first anyway, the Green Berets would go up on the roof by themselves, and they would fight all night. Then in the morning, they would come down carrying their injured and sometimes dead comrades. And this went on for days and weeks. Then something started to happen, something crazy. 1 villager, then 2, then many started to go up on the roof at night and fight with the Green Berets. The villagers started to kick the Taliban's ass with the help from the Green Berets, and they got out of their paralysis, fighting like their life depended on it. So what happened was the Green Berets went to the roof and led from the roof. And the villagers saw that day after day. They saw the sacrifices that the Green Berets had when they were coming down and carrying their wounded and their sometimes fallen comrade. And a lot of times you'd think, man, they're doing that. I'm not going to go up there on that roof. There's people getting injured and people getting hurt. Why would I go up there? But that's not what happens. Psychologically, what happens is they start wanting to join them. They see what they're doing, their sacrifices, and they want to join them. They want to see, and I'm sure they also saw wins, because the Green Berets are some of the toughest people on the earth. And I'm sure they saw a lot of wins from the Green Berets. And so they wanted to be a part of that and take their village back. So the reason I wanted to share that is because me and my team had a similar experience, in theory, of course, with our mortgage business. So back in, I would say, February 2018, we had to make a change. And after, 12 years in the business, we had to leave a company after being there for that long. Not by choice. Sometimes things happen where you just have no other choice. You have to make a move. We sacrificed money. We sacrificed, starting all over again. We took our team, and I'm going to tell that story another podcast, by the way, because that's a good story. I got to share it with you because I know some people can relate to that, and I want you to know that you're not alone. And I'm going to let you know what I did and what my team did to overcome it and where we came from it. But right now, anyway, back in 2018, when we had to make this move, basically start from scratch, we had I had 21 employees look at me and say, "Now what? What are we going to do now?" They were kind of in a state of shock and paralysis. That's at least the way I viewed it, because honestly, I was too. I was feeling the same way. However, I never stay paralyzed long. It's just not what I'm made of. So the reason Scott's story hit home with me, because I remember telling my team 3 things. And it's so crazy how this relates and how similar it is. But I told him, if you don't want to be here, you can leave. And I laid out our strategy and our vision of what we were going to do. So you're either going to be a part of this or you don't have to. No problem. You just can't stay here. Number 2, it's going to get a lot tougher before it gets better. I shared that with them as well. And I asked them, are you willing for the vision from number 1? Are you willing to sacrifice and go through the things that we're going to have to go through to hit our goal and hit our vision? Because it is going to get tough. Because you got to expect that, guys. You cannot set a vision and a goal and not think that there's going to be some hurdles that you're going to run into, some people that are going to try to go against the grain, keep you from what you're trying to do. You're going to, I also told him that some of the people that were around us, look around. Some of the people that are here right now aren't going to be here in a few months from now. We're going to have some new faces. But when you set a vision and a goal, you got to understand that there's going to be hurdles. And it's going to be a lot tougher than you think. And that's why you have to step up your game, step up your expectation of the work that it's going to take to get there. And just know that the people that are with you looking around, like I said, some of them aren't going to be up to the challenge. They're not going to have that same vision. And so that was number 2. It's going to get tougher before it gets better. Number 3, I will do the things myself that I'm telling you needs to be done, even if you don't do it. We're going to make this work with or without you. I said that line a lot of times. And I approached it deep down inside of me. Now, I know I wasn't in a war zone. I know I'm not on the same level by any means as the military. So this is definitely not to diminish what our military does for us and our country. But I was handling this, and I psychologically put this in my head that this was a life or death situation. And, still feel some emotion from that, which is only short 2 years ago. So I got a little hell from that. I got a little feedback that wasn't that good from saying that to my employees. Look, we're going to do this with or without you. I mean, I even got to the point sometimes, and my partners will tell you, I say, guys, look, I'll do this myself if I have to, because I know I can. So we got to get on board, we got to commit, and we got to roll. And if you do, I promise you, there's going to be some huge victories, and we're going to change people's lives. And some people think, you're changing people's lives in the mortgage business. What are you doing, getting a home loan for them? Well, that's a big deal for a lot of people. But we go beyond that. Like this mortgage business that we do, that's what we do. And we take pride in helping people, guide them through the mortgage and home buying process. But really, it's deeper than that. And I think if we were just doing that, it'd be a very difficult thing to continue in some of the tough things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. But we take it a little step further. We're in a people-building business. We want to change people's lives, help them reach their potential, bring greatness out of them. Very important to us that we do that, and we take pride in that. And so anyway, I said, we're going to do this with or without you. So you need to get on board, buy into the vision, or go somewhere else. As a matter of fact, we'll help you. If you want to leave, we're going to give you the opportunity to leave, and we'll help you move out of here. And we'll help you find another job. Because we don't wish anything bad on anyone. We just have a vision, and we have to go in one direction, and we can't have salmon swimming upstream on us. It just doesn't work. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life, in my business life, is keeping people around too long that were acting like salmon swimming upstream and causing our river not to flow properly. So, and my son Rocco was getting on me this morning. He's like, why do you got to put everything in analogy? Why are you always using analogies? why are you always using stories? Listen, man, it's just an easier way to explain it to you. Maybe it's the way I understand it. I don't know. I guess he wants me to be more literal with things, but so anyway, I did this number 3. I'll do things myself that need to be done. I'm telling you, need to be done. I'll do it myself, with or without you. I'm gonna do it. So I did this for weeks, and my partner Short down in Ocean City, I was on the phone, and I'm telling everyone, listen, we got to make a certain amount of calls per day. We got to call our referral partners. We got to call people daily. We got to get on the phone and get out there. Because guys, the biggest hurdle for salespeople is not being known and not being thought about constantly. That's the biggest problem with salespeople. So if you know that, then do something about it. So anyway, I would get on the phone, and I would strut around the office and say, look, this ain't that hard. Come on, man. And I'd get on a conversation with a real estate agent or an accountant or a financial advisor and shoot the shit with them, and then ask them for business at the end of the call. And I would do it, and I'd make sure that everybody in the office heard me. Hey, guys, this ain't easy. There's 1. There's 2. Count them up. Somebody didn't answer. I'm leaving a message. They didn't answer. I'm leaving a message here. All right, hang up the phone. Now I'm going to text them. Hey, I left you a voice message. I will talk to you when you call back. And then I would shoot them an email. Hey, I left you a voicemail. I sent you a text. Just want to let you know I'm trying to reach you. I have something to go over with you. I'll talk to you when you call back. And I would do that, and I would make a display of it. And again, that's just one example of it. But I would do those kind of things, those kind of activities myself until slowly but surely, 1 person jumped in. 2 people jumped in. Before you know it, 3 people jumped in. And again, there wasn't always positives when I was doing these activities, so they saw that as well. But as we did that and people start buying in, my thing is that snowball effect. The snowball effect took place. And before you know it, the snowball's going so big that we're breaking records. Not every month, because look, records aren't supposed to be broken as many times as we're doing it this year. And if we're getting some help from the economy and rates being low, I get that. But our purchase business, which is not as rate sensitive, is going through the roof. And that is a lot to do with our activities and our attitudes and our culture. And so anyway, when everybody started buying in, we started seeing wins, celebrating them, connections were made, and the snowball effect took place, like I said. And guys, I relate this to a snowball. We all know what the snowball effect is. A snowball starts to grow as it rolls through the snow, right? But the thing about it, normally gravity stops things. Gravity will pull something down to the ground and hits it, and it's over if it's in the air, right? Well, what's gravity do to a snowball? If a snowball's at the top of the hill and gravity starts pulling it down a hill of snow, that snowball starts getting bigger. So even gravity cannot stop a snowball. So I've been using the snowball analogy a lot, and I'm going to keep pressing that in because I believe in once you get to a certain point, the growth and the culture will be unstoppable. We'll have to maintain it. We'll still have to do some things, obviously, but we're going to become unstoppable. And that's the motto and that's the mind frame that we have in our organization. So some things to take away from this, guys, is look for stories or things that you had in your past that you can relate to now or learn from in the future to get through hurdles and bust through. Or when your things are going good and you think they're going good, to take yourself to the next level. Because you know what? We're never doing our best. You know, I heard somebody say that today, that I'm doing my best. None of us are ever doing our best. We can always do better. And in order to really dig that out of you and keep that moving, you have to have something, whether it's a story, an experience, or some other story that's somebody else's inspiration that puts you in that place. So anyway, I never realized until hearing Scott's story that rooftop leadership is what was happening there. And it's what it took to get our village back. Because February 2018, we were in a dark place as a company, as a group, as individuals. There was a lot of uncertainties. A lot of people were scared, a lot of anxiety. And those that were involved with that know what I'm talking about. And I'm so thankful that they all bought into what vision that we put out there in front of them and came along for the journey. So, but anyway, yeah, so that's what I got for you today. Listen, one thing I want to make sure I also express my most sincere gratitude to all the military, all those who served and continue to serve, and those that gave it all to serve protect our great country, their families. It means a lot to me. And I just want to make sure people don't take this story as I'm diminishing anything that the Green Berets did, because It's not even close. But if I can learn, and we can learn from what they were doing and how they went about it and the results that they got into our lives here in this country where the risks aren't as high, I think that's important. And so that's what my aim was with that. So I had to share that with you because it was on my heart. I hope you got something out of it. I know I did. And I just want to wish you guys the best. Until next time, it's your boy C-Roc on the What Are You Made Of podcast, sponsored by Nations Lending. Thank you for being a part of the What Are You Made Of podcast. So that you don't miss future episodes, please rate and subscribe to the What Are You Made Of podcast on your favorite listening or viewing apps, and follow me on your favorite social media platforms. I would love to hear your stories and past experiences and engage with you further.